Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes. Looking for a motion to reappoint James Slade to the North Central Pennsylvania Regional Planning Board of Directors.
Second.
Call for Werner, please.
Mr. Bowles?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr.
We're looking for a motion to appoint Yvonne Ramsbottom of Punxsutawney to the Community Connections of Clearfield, Jefferson County's Advisory Board to fill a vacant position.
So moved. Second.
Call for Werner.
Mr. Bowles?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
We're looking for motion to approve the following applications for county aid for the following municipalities. Knox Township. Don't read them all. All right. If you look down through them, but you can see what we have here, and there'll be other counties later on that will also have theirs. So we'll look for a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Call for a vote, please.
Mr. Bowles?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes. Okay, at this time, we're preparing to vote on the decertification of our TPA known as PAYGO. On June 13th, we announced to decertify our tourist promotion agency at our commissioners meeting. On June 20th, we had a public hearing for comments to be considered for this decision. Today, we are prepared to vote on this matter. The decisions of the commissioners are based on research facts and for the taxpayers of Jefferson County. This decision was not based on the last several weeks, but information based on 1+ years. For this time of questions, requests, not one time did PAYGO reach out to sit down and intelligently discuss the concerns of the Jefferson County Commissioners, nor did they send the request information asked for. Before I call for this matter to be brought to vote, I'll ask Commissioner Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of thoughts I'd like to express. From my position of being responsible for the taxpayers' dollars, people talk about they. Who's they? They should fix this. They should address something. Well, in Jefferson County, we're they. We're the ones that are responsible for addressing concerns because the taxpayers entrust us to do that, all three of us, with the staff that we bring on board to assist in that endeavor. Leadership's supposed to be positive. Good leadership's positive anyway. What you're going toward, not as much as what you're going from. So let's talk about that for a moment. Given the concerns that we've had with PAYGO, not last week, not last month, not in the last year, but for years, it's caused us to evaluate what a path forward can look like, and can it be better? The answer is yes. We can take the hundreds of thousands of dollars in assets that we're entrusted with, tax money, and use it to a higher and better use, and we're going to. Let me speak to the other aspect of leadership and what bad leadership is. Bad leadership is untruthful leadership. In my opinion, the leadership of PAYGO has done the membership of PAYGO a disservice by not providing good, positive, and truthful leadership. I have heard for weeks that this is some issue about the commissioners wanting to give money to Punxsutawney. We look out for the interests of all the municipalities of Jefferson County. We're responsible for all 34 boroughs and townships, all 44,490 residents. And we're also responsible for the visitors, anyone who comes in and utilizes our services. That's what brought us to evaluating what is our relationship. We have for years, prior to even my being here, approached PAYGO about getting a better understanding and working cooperatively. The most recent action taken by the Board of Commissioners to fund with taxpayer money the Pennsylvania Great Outdoors took place in 2019. Resolution 2019-03. That was the avenue or the process, that outlined the process by which PAGO received hundreds of thousands of dollars of tax money that was levied and collected by Jefferson County. Jefferson County, along with 4 other counties. Part of that resolution established some very basic requirements. Transparency and accountability with regard to, among other things, financial statements, specifically audits. The county auditors have met with PAGO in the past, years ago, reached understandings, drew conclusions, extended cooperation, came to understandings, and those were ignored on the part of the PAGO leadership. So that was the root of what is this relationship about, what does it do, and what is our responsibility for the taxpayers. We looked at, can we do this better? The answer is yes. Can we add to it? We will. PAGO as an organization can be our partner. But as we see the future, we don't see the taxpayers funding them. It's been stated that PAGO is very good at what they do. I think they are. If you're looking at visits to websites and filling rat cards, and that is valuable, they have efficacy in that area. We want to take it to the next level. But speaking for myself, what caused me concern was the lack of compliance with the resolution. When you get tax money, you have responsibilities. When those responsibilities aren't met, the people at this table are responsible for making sure that that's not the case or that it changes. So therefore, we took action. As Commissioner Buller said, we were open to discussion. However, there was no interest in working with us until we stopped funding PAGO back in February. We withheld our funds for PAGO's lack of compliance with very basic accountability and transparency requirements. We're not alone, though this doesn't seem to have surfaced. Clarion County and Forest counties also had concerns, also withheld their funds. The narrative that this was some issue about Punxsutawney. The fact of the matter is, if this was about funding Punxsutawney, then why does Forest and Clarion have an issue with it? That issue hasn't been spoken to. Last week, we had a hearing. Took 38 minutes to hear people express their concerns. And go back to the leadership issue for just a moment. What bad leadership brings. I listened to several people speak on behalf of PAGO and lay out some good sound points and arguments. The problem I had, or the concern, sitting as an individual, was that they were swinging the wrong direction. They had been fed a narrative that this was an issue with a particular community. That's not the case. There isn't an ounce of evidence to suggest that the commissioners, A, tried to coerce anyone into doing anything wrong, or B, even extend the conversation into a controversy. There wasn't a phone call, there wasn't an argument, there wasn't an email, nothing. When PAGO responded that they weren't going to provide Punxsy the funds that were suggested, the issue was dropped. Show me proof to the contrary. And I take personal exception to anyone who suggests that I, especially in the face of the tax dollars, suggested that they break the law. Show me the proof. If that's the case, the matter should have been taken to the district attorney immediately. My knowledge, that hasn't taken place. It's not going to take place because it isn't true. One of the people who spoke, I thought quite well last week, made reference to two things. And I'm going to come close to ending here. One was, and again, it feeds into the narrative that was misdirected, that Punksy doesn't deserve the money. I took a glance at the most recent quarter financial reports for the taxes levied. The number one lodging facility in Jefferson County is 1 mile outside of Punxsutawney. The suggestion was that Punxsy did not merit the money. The fact is, over the years, the Punxsy area has gotten very little, but has contributed tens of thousands to the effort. But of course, that wasn't the issue. And the PAGO members were misdirected to think that was the issue. So that was where they focused. The other concern that I had was about the implication that the commissioners were unreasonable or unapproachable in this matter, that this was a sudden burst reaction. This has been going on for years, ladies and gentlemen. We only got some semblance of cooperation when we stopped giving your money to the organization. And what we received were by any stretch of the imagination inadequate. And if any of you would like to see it, I'll illustrate one point, and I have others. If you could see this, you would see that it shows a very basic accounting of what the 5 counties provide to the PAGO organization. Except it doesn't show 5 counties. It shows 4. One of them's missing. I don't know why. We give the Jefferson County Airport $60,000, a fraction of what PAGO gets. And we get a complete comprehensive audit every year without asking for it. That is our responsibility to you as we look after how your tax money is spent. If I was to take off my commissioner's hat for a minute and just put on the hat of a taxpayer, I would ask not, why is Jefferson County seeking to decertify PAGO? I would ask, what took so long for Jefferson County to seek to decertify PAGO? The answer I would give is, we've been trying to work with them. And so you may have gathered from my remarks that I'm inclined to vote in favor of decertification. I wish PAGO well. I want PAGO to succeed. I want to see its members thrive. But I don't want to see any more tax money go to this effort. Their receivables are 99.18% tax money. Jefferson County is choosing to go a different way. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Now, but exactly what these guys have said. It is about the money, but it's about the money that is collected here in Jefferson County. It's our responsibility to make sure it's used in Jefferson County. And not being able to get the answers that we've been requesting for years, shame on us. As Scott said, that it's taken us so long to get here. And yeah, good luck to PAGO. And we know that there's lots of letters going around to townships and municipalities, but you know, there's some smart people out there on councils and townships. So I think that we're calling them, and we're giving them the truth. So this is going to be better for Jefferson County. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. This time, I'm looking for a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-05, decertifying Northwest Pennsylvania Great Outdoors Visitors Bureau Incorporated PA Great Outdoors Visitors Bureau, PAGO, as a recognized tourist promotion agency of Jefferson County, Pennsylvania.
So,
Second. Thank you. Call for vote, please.
Mr. Golders.
Yes.
Mr. North.
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro.
yes.
Motion to approve the following projects as submitted by the Hotel Tax Committee. Brookfield Trail Hub, $1,432.77. Cold Spring Power Museum, $2,000, and Jefferson County Historic Society, $1,275.
Second?
Thank you. Call for a vote, please.
Mr. Golders.
Yes.
Mr. North.
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro.
Yes.
At this time, we will go to public comments.
Elise.
Elise. Yes. Elise, would you care to
Yeah,
share?
thank you. I'm Elise Gravans. I'm coming from North Central. I just wanted to come talk about our grant writing program, our free grant writing program. Appalachian Regional Commission, otherwise known as ARC, funded my position as Community Development Coordinator. I started back in November. We started our call for projects a little before I got there, back in March of '22. We work with nonprofits and municipalities primarily to work on cultivating their project, matching them with a funding source, and ultimately in hopes of submitting a grant application. We have provided this for about a year and a half now. We've had 19 total projects in Jefferson County. I just wanted to give you a little bit of some basic information on Jefferson. We've helped fund $1.2 million in Jefferson so far. Currently having 6 active projects. So 2 have been funded, 6 are active. One of the main things we see as a barrier is match. Municipalities, nonprofits obviously really struggle with match. You know what our area is like. I brought some flyers. I can give flyers to whoever and business cards. I just wanted to get out and let the people who have worked with me put a face to a name, meet some people. I'm working on marketing now that I'm more comfortable since I started in November. The way to do this, what we start with, I'm happy to have a phone call with them. You can call and ask me questions about a project. Municipalities call me all the time, email me all the time. We have a form, it's an online form that you fill out to explain a little bit to us about your project. Phone calls are nice, I love getting to know people, but if I don't have it in writing, it's really hard to work with. So we have the online form, it'll tell us a little bit about your agency, what your project is, if you have any cost estimates, if you can put any match forward. And from there, you'll get assigned to a member of our team. They'll reach out to you, they'll work with you on kind of, I say fluffing up your project. Like what other information do we need? What's gonna be important to submit for a grant? And then we help you go out and find those grants. We're a little bit different than a consulting service, whereas a consulting service, you can kind of dump it all on them. They do 100% of the work. We're helping you learn how to do it too, which is really nice. We will proofread things for you. We'll help you submit the funding. Things like that. I always throw in, we never guarantee funding. People think sometimes when they talk to me that we're the agency giving out the money. We're not. We're helping people to match with federal, state, and local monies to hopefully get their projects done. Some examples, roads, roofs. People try to come in with help with work on the municipality buildings. Just as some regular examples, I guess. And I'll stick around afterwards if anyone has any questions, and I'll have the flyers over here that you can pick up after too.
Okay. Thank you, Elise. Anything else under public comments? None. Okay, press.
Did the hotel tax money go to PAGO? So that money went to them?
All of it.
All of it.
Oh,
It's by statute, Larry. If you have a TPA, Tourist Promotion Agency, the county is allowed to keep up to 4% for the administrative cost of collecting it and distributing it. The balance goes entirely to your Tourist Promotion Agency, in this case, PAGO.
so now that'll go just to the county.
Well, it has to continue, the process isn't done yet. Has to go to the municipalities. The way the lobbyists help craft the legislation, you have to initiate the process, you have to have the hearing. We have to have the resolution that we just voted on next week, and now it has to go to 34 boroughs and townships for ratification, and 65% of the representative population.
So, you think they'll be all in favor of this, and the others, 30 others, that probably scores that many?
Well, I just speaking for myself, I don't want to speak for those people. They are the elected officials by those boroughs and townships, and they'll have to address the matter as they see fit.
Do you have a plan in place for how you're gonna do the promotion for the county now?
We do, until we get to the point where that funding is available, we can't really execute anything or even implement anything, because for now, our TPA is our TPA, and we won't know where we stand until that process is done. But, we could talk in broad terms, I think, what we're gonna do.
Yeah, so we're actively, through Department of Development, Jessica, she's getting some information. So when we do get to the end of this process, that we will be able to hire another employee and to, it's gonna be a little lumpy probably for a month or two, but it'll smooth out and be better than what we have today.
Our intention is that we're gonna have a Jefferson County brand. And we'll be using those tax revenue to push the Jefferson County brand for Jefferson County. And certainly open to working with neighboring counties or regional interests and organizations.
And I think it's important, I think it was mentioned maybe last week, but one thing was the fact that there was a senator, which we don't throw his name out there, but he indicated to us, a lot of counties are doing this, and the fact that all counties should get away from the TPAs and should be doing it for their county. Anything else?
Yeah, regarding the audits, now Pago says that they did submit the audits, they did it correctly, so, but.
These are what they call audits. I happen to have with me, by chance, an example of a correct audit. This is what we get from the Jefferson County Airport. This has information like how much money they spent, where they spent it, liabilities, what kind of information that they may have with regard to their own tax withholding, payroll, cash flow, interest income, things like that. This is what we consider to be an audit. This, as I pointed out earlier, on the face of it's incomplete. And this is the page that has the numbers on it. These don't. This audit, by contrast, has details. Not very complicated, not hard to read. Even a product of the Punxsutawney school system can read and understand this. I don't consider those acceptable. However, we're still missing one, so I can't draw any conclusions. We're still waiting for 2019. When that arrives, then I'll be able to maybe draw some conclusions. I'm sorry, Chris. No, you're good. My blood pressure's up and
Rob, is there any good questions, guy?
I have a question. You said that Clarion County and Forest County have also withheld tax revenues from the hotel tax. Was that done in coordination or anything, or did you just discover that everybody was kind of going down the same road?
I don't think it was coordinated, but we basically all did it roughly around the same time, because the three counties we're asking the same questions and getting the same answers, which was nothing. So
It might be,
relatively,
it might be accurate to say we've communicated,
yeah, we
Gotcha.
But
talked to everybody.
but we took action in the interest of Jefferson County, just like I'm sure Forrest and Clarion did as well. But we didn't do it at the same moment in time. Whenever we've taken an action regarding PAYGO, as a courtesy, we have copied all the counties. So the 5 counties involved, Jefferson, Clarion, Forest, Cameron, and Elk. We communicate with the other counties just to let them know what we're doing. Because we all are in the same PAYGO boat, they should be aware of it. But in fairness and out of respect to the other counties and their commissioners, with regard to their rationale, question probably best put to them, but that wasn't a coordinated, but it was, that we were in communication.
Thank you.
What are some of the things you think you'll be able to do better than payers, whatever it is that they even do? You don't know.
Well, again, I'll just speak for myself. I have a particular vision where we can, I think, do better. And it's something we hear a lot about, and that is enhancing our trail system. So we hear from different Rails to Trails groups and trail organizations looking to, among other things, better the trails, and as a byproduct of that, enhance tourism. And tourism, of course, splashes onto all things economic. So I'd like to see us, not devote all of it, but I'd like to see some attention driven in that area.
Plus, one of the bigger factors too, me being here a couple of years more than these guys, is that, PAYGO, in my opinion, promotes the special interest of their director. Our responsibility is to every hotel or tourism related industry here in the county. That hasn't been done unless they have become a member of PAYGO. So, not everybody is.
Yeah, I think it's also important, the fact that it's Jefferson County. Jefferson County is going to look out for Jefferson County, just like all the other counties that have broken away from their TPAs or in the process of doing that. They're going to look out for their county. There is so many requests that come here that we can do nothing about. And you'll find that with this action that we're taking place, it's going to actually enhance. There's going to be so much more that we can do for Jefferson County.
So what was their complaint about Punxsutawney? Why were they against money going to Punxsutawney?
We never discussed it with them, Larry, I don't know. It was not an issue. We put forth a letter, and when they found that there was issue with it, that they wanted it to go through a application process, and there was a match. We knew that there was no match money to be had, so there was nothing else to discuss. We dropped it. There was no other communication.
That, in my opinion, again, that's just an excuse that was made by their director to throw all this, the real facts off. So, you can see it, read it how you want, but as you see,
Considered a tourist destination alone.
but as you see,
I've heard that.
this has become very emotional as far as voting and getting all this information. And when you're being accused of doing something wrong, which is not true, in the paper or on the TV, it does get emotional. So, we're just going by pure facts and information. But I guess that doesn't matter to some people. But that's our decision, and that's what we have to do.
But if you would like copies of these, I happen to have some in a box near me. You're welcome to have them. And challenge what I said. Something that you'll also see when you look through this is you'll see the gross amounts provided by 4 of the 5 participating counties. You'll notice that the top number is the 75% if you do the math. You also see toward the bottom, not the very bottom, toward the bottom, that year's allocation toward grants. And then you'll also see that we get charged our own money for providing the money. By that, I mean, let's take Jefferson County's, these are their numbers, not mine. Jefferson County provided in 2022, $284,000. 75% of that's $213,000. That's for them to operate. The rest is supposed to be able to go back to the efforts around the county to support grants. However, we've been charged $13,000 and $35,000 respectively for other things. So that came off the 25%. So what did we get left for grants added? Or after you make those deductions? $22,000. And we, with regard to any of that money that's available, there's $163,000 supposedly available to Jefferson County for grants. Yet it sits there. You'll also notice in that one that they have $1.1 million in assets are sitting. I'd like to see an actual audit. Yes, sir.
We spoke last week about what happens to the monies that have been withheld from, I think it was Q4 of 2022 and Q1 of 2023 by Jefferson County to the TPA. I think I've got that right. But in general, my question is, have you come to a determination on what will happen with those monies that you have withheld so far? Does that get to stay in the county or does that have to go to Pago?
It goes back to, I think you said, what do you say, Mr. Chairman? It goes back to the accountability issue that we've been asking about.
Yeah, so it's not determined how that'll work out yet.
We're talking substantial money at that point, right? If you're doing 200 grand a year and we're talking 2 quarters.
And it's all tax money.
Yeah.
It's all tax money. And the suggestion that this was some issue because we didn't want to do paperwork, you can't move a nickel around here without a dozen pieces of paper.
Yeah.
We're not afraid of paperwork. This is the wrong place to work if you're afraid of paperwork. So to move money, filling out forms, you don't do it without filling out forms around here. So that argument dies on its own merit.
Anything else? All right, then we will look for a motion. All right, yeah, we better read announcements. Let's see, the county is seeking the services of the county solicitor if interested. Submit a letter of interest to the commissioner's office. Our county offices will be closed on Tuesday, July 4th, 2023, in observance of the 4th of July. And next commission meeting, July 11th, 10:30 here at Jefferson Place. Now we'll wait for that. Thank you, both of those.
Mr. Bowler?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes. Sure.
Not too sure.
Meeting is